the problem is I'm like looking for adults.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking to attract other adults to be my fans that go through life in an adult way. They're responsible. They take care of business. They also feel sad, but they bounce back. They're constantly pushing through the difficulties of life. They're decently well-read, but have a good enough sense of humor about themselves to laugh at
They're not
like
cunts.
jizz and whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, adults don't like things. Like, adults aren't fans.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of anything because I'm a fucking adult. I don't have time to be a fucking fan.
Yeah.
Like, the people that either have way too much money that are single or no money and are single have time to be fans.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the internet has made me want to be this person.
Don't put that into the episode, actually. Right?
I think it's okay.
That's okay?
Yeah.
I just feel like I anytime I have a comment on anything, I feel too judgmental for who I am. You know what I mean? My mom definitely said, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house way too many times in my entire life, because anytime I huck a rock at anything, I immediately take 6 fucking, Berettas to my insides.
Oh man, I'm the worst where like the second I talk shit, and I feel myself on it, where I'm like that fucking thing I told you like a couple weeks ago with Matt Friend, where it was like, I'm gonna fucking roast this guy. Nobody likes it. His feelings are hurt. I look like an asshole. But it's usually way worse. It's why I'm afraid to release the shit talking episode. Because I think it immediately would be like, hey, remember that time that you asked for my help and I helped you a bunch? Be like, yeah.
Well,
that's
and everybody,
right. You gave me a kidney.
Anytime that I try to jump into a thing that it seems like it's going okay for other people, like shit talking, people get excited about it when it's on other podcasts. They're like, holy shit, this is really inside baseball. They're saying really crazy shit. The moment I speak hyperbolic in a violent sense about anybody, and I think I'm being funny, and people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Dude, Nicole, my wife, this was like part of our tough week last week, my tough week, is that when I get upset and angry, I speak, you hear how I speak.
Yeah.
So it's this tone, it's very like tense and like percussive, and it's also hyperbolically violent. So I speak in mass casualties.
Yeah.
And that's just, and everyone in my life gets upset by it.
Yeah.
Everyone. And there's part of me that understands why they're upset, and I empathize with the fact that they have to deal with somebody like me, but I'm also like so incredibly frustrated that I'm unable to express my rage before people are afraid.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Or calling me gay in the comments, or saying I can't fight, or it's like everybody.
Well, that's very funny that you're almost 40 and you're like, I can fight.
No, that's the opposite. Actually, I've said I can't. I'm just angry.
Oh.
But people are like, look at this guy thinking he could do something. I'm like, no, I'm just angry.
Yeah, that's the thing is I want to talk a bunch of shit, but then like if somebody got violent, I'd be like, no, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, you're dumb. That's why I don't want to fight you.
Yeah. The reason I'm this mad is because of how afraid I am.
The thing you were talking about with the adults thing, I am way too on my phone. And
Same.
I have this idea that I can work out every day, invest money, be super productive, have passive income, make love well, be present for my children, write a new 10 minutes a week. Like that's the threshold in my head of like what I think, I should be in great shape. I should be super productive. I should be financially sound. I should be cool.
Yes.
And I should also be prolific. And the fact that I don't do that, I'm a loser.
Right.
And then
what is that? Did we each have one good week once and that became the bar?
I think it's just the world. I think it's the world they like project what is like all these people project. There's so much stuff online now where it's like, ask me how I made $1 million by the time I turned 25. And you're like, oh, cool. I want to make $1 million. And you're like, oh, I can't do that.
Do you ever get that guy who's the bald dude and he's fucking yoked out of his
sales
mind?
guy.
Yeah, he looks like a jacked up principal from Back to the Future. And he's screaming about how nobody fucks his wife better than him. And you can just tell that he's never made her come once.
I actually would venture to say that he probably watches other people fuck his wife. He's throwing out that kind of energy.
I like a man who sweatily yells.
I love all this stuff online that's like, and I also don't know why it speaks to me. I have only wanted to be like a creative. I want money. I really like money, and I like the things that it. But I've only wanted to like write movies, act, make funny stuff, do stand up, see the world. That's like what I want to do. And before shit had consequences, I was very fine with it. I was fine being broke. I was fine, like kind of living by the seat of my pants and also enjoyed the shit.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Like you were a Marine.
Like a fucking crappy gig in fucking Elmira, New York, whatever it is, you know, just some awful gig. I'd go, it's fucking good. You know, like this is the shit.
Oh, romanticize the fact that you're on this path too.
Yeah. And now it's like, I go like, but I fucking gotta like, I gotta pay for this, and this, and I gotta start getting ready for this. And, just you start becoming an adult and it really fucking drains that shit.
The reality of life is a nightmare. It just like, as you get older, like if you're watching and you're young and you're seeing two dads who love their life and we're talking as if
it's over.
It's over. Like that's the crazy thing is like it's such a fucking mix of both where I don't want to come across as too negative, but I am a negative person, but I'm also so grateful and appreciative of my entire life. But I told Nicole, this actually goes right into it because I've had like a massive immediate mental health shift since I just broke my cold plunge.
Oh, wow.
Like, and
you broke it? I thought it was just a bin. How did you break it?
It is. It's just kind of like a marination tub. Like,
but it doesn't have a filter or a pump or anything.
No, there's nothing to it.
So how'd you break it?
So I got one that was like the blow up rim to it, and it was like a cylinder, and it almost felt like you were kind of going over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Yeah, in a barrel. But once I got that and I got obsessed with it and I got really interested in how it made me feel. And I was like, really like, I'm like, fuck yeah, man, this is going to be a part of my everyday life for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So I bought a better one. I leveled up. I was like, I'm not going to go full $8,000, filtration. I don't even own my home. So I can't just plop that in my backyard anyway. So I got a stock tank.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right. A Rubbermaid stock tank, which I didn't know. I thought that meant just like stock as in like it's just a regular tank.
No, it's for livestock.
It's for livestock.
You're like, you guys got these in stock, right?
It's literally what I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I'm too dumb to function.
Whatever. Yeah.
But so then, you find out the cows drink from it. It's 100 gallons. I'm so excited. I get it for one day, fill it up, do the whole clean out. So what I'm doing basically, I don't have a filter or anything like that. I'm putting all this cleaning solution, this 12% peroxide that maintains clean water for a little bit longer than if you just had a still bath.
Yeah.
But I'm basically cleaning it every week, every 7 days, which in the winter is a goddamn bitch. It sucks.
Yeah.
So whatever. So during that run where we had like single digit weather for 5 to 7 days in a row, it froze almost entirely through. Like just all the way through, and I couldn't use it. And I was like, okay, that sucks, but whatever. Then I went out the next week, and I'm trying to like kind of loosen it, seeing if I can. I get a couple pieces loose. I'm like, oh, this is exciting. I grab fucking boiling water, come out, pour it in. It starts loosening up and filling again. I'm like smashing it with my sledgehammer. That's working. I'm like, this is awesome. There's still pieces on the side, so I'm trying to move those, but it's like a solid ring of ice.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm knocking it, but that's having difficulty. I like kick a piece and a big shelf falls off. I'm like, oh, okay, so that works. So I'm like kicking it. And finally I kick it and I hurt my foot. So without even thinking, I grab my sledgehammer and I go like this to the side of the tank and put a perfect fucking hole right in the side of it.
Jesus.
Just, you ever do something that you know is not right? If you gave it 1 second of thought, you would be like, well, this is what's going to happen. A to B, cause and effect. You've learned this as a child.
Yeah.
But I didn't even consider it for 1 second. It was like a fluid action of grab hit. And there was no thought.
I went home a month ago to do gigs at Laughs Comedy Club. And I was in the room I stay in at my mom's house. And there's just a perfect fist print in the wall from this summer when the baby wouldn't sleep and I was losing my fucking mind, and I just punched the wall and just left a huge dent. Didn't make a hole, but immediately was like, what the fuck am I doing? This is my mom's house that now has a hole in the wall, like a fucking micro scene.
Thank God my parents like it broke up and that house is not in our family anymore.
Yeah.
Because there was, what is that, like fake wood? Is that vinyl side or whatever? So we had one of those like kind of fake walls between the steam, the boiler, and then our basement, which used to be a dance studio. So there's just fucking walls of mirrors. It's very cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but also kind of gross. But I would play hardcore ping pong with my dad to the point where we would scream at each other, curse at each other, get physical. And that entire downstairs wall behind where I was stationed is in fucking shards.
Just holes.
Like everywhere. I'm not like, my dad laughing at me, calling me a bitch while I'm just fucking like forearm shivering. Just ripping through it like a maniac. And there's nothing more.
18 love.
It also makes you feel really strong to punch through like a hollow siding.
Remember me talking about punching out the window? The greatest feeling of my life. And I was doing it for a bunch of high schoolers.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
I mean, that would feel good today. If
It'd be
to
so fun to beat up a high schooler now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I would not. You could?
Yeah.
You think you could beat up a high schooler?
Not all of them, but I think I could. Yes, I could body a child. Because here's the thing. They might have a little bit of physicality on me, but they do not have life on me.
No, they don't have.
I have some life that I will bring to that fight.
They can't dig deep like you can. Yeah. They can't access those horrors
Last
to bring
night,
out.
Or yesterday or the day before, we went up to the museum on the train and had the baby in the stroller. Me, Rosebud, my sister, my niece and stuff. And there's these kids that get on the train and they're being kind of wild. They're bothering other people and they're like moving down the train at me. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of these kids. And I was like getting ready in my head. And I was just like, all right, I'll just fucking elbow that one right in the face, kind of like discombobulate him.
Yeah.
And then the more challenging one I'll go after with a little bit more physicality.
Once you've isolated him, then you'll deal with the big problem.
Yeah. And then, I was like, this will probably go my way. I'm angrier. I know I'm angrier.
But what ended up happening? They just didn't even make it to you?
Actually, they did make it to me, and they were like right by us, and I was getting ready to be like, yo, you need to back the fuck off kind of thing. And the doors open.
Rosebud did it.
Yeah.
She steps up.
Yeah, she scared the shit out of them. No, her grandpa just had them shot. No, they actually they just like ran off. And they bumped the drink holder that sits on my stroller, and it fell off and then fell in between the tracks, and they were gone. And I was just like, all right, well, there goes $40. I'm going to kill you someday.
That is, yeah. I mean, I've had, when I was drinking, I had that kind of like planning if somebody would come over here. There's like, I
do it. I have so many physical fights in my head.
Oh yeah, all day, every day.
Yeah, I beat the shit out of everybody.
Everybody that disrespects me on any level, like the woman at Starbucks that was like, "You still don't have the app?" I was like, "Oh!" in my head,
just hitting her head against the counter. The skinny dip almonds flying. They need to make an action movie where a Starbucks gets fucked up.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
They haven't done it yet. I want to throw somebody through that glass case.
I mean, and it should be like called ISIS because that's the picture. That's the picture of the woman. That's Lady ISIS. Did you know that?
Oh yeah,
the Starbucks image.
It should be called ISIS. Yeah. I don't think Mike understands the show business work.
ISIS
so
box.
The movie's called ISIS.
It's not selling?
No.
I pushed a high schooler off of a Subway once.
Really?
Because I was going out to far Brooklyn, like Avenue P. I think I don't know what part of Brooklyn it is, but when I used to coach soccer, and I was going out to these kids who were just these rich cunt kids. They were like from Russia. They'd talk shit to me every single time I was coaching them. They're like, "You're poor. We don't have to listen to you."
Yeah.
They were 8.
Great.
And literally just dismissing me as a human being. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Here, give me my $35 for coaching this class.
Jesus.
So I would do, and that was actually, I took that job to get me out of a mental health crisis.
Nice.
Because I needed to fill my day with a positive, physical activity.
You
and
just
I
started
took that
hating
on.
a whole ethnic group. That's all you got from it. You were angrier and
so I was heading out there, and a group of kids. I'm not even sure what they were. A mixed ethnic bag. and it was like a pretty packed subway. And one dude, you ever get like brushed up, but he like, and it's not even a hard hit, but he hits you in a spot where it's like the most painful thing.
Or it just pisses you off. For
no reason. Dude, he hit my hip. And like, I don't know if he took a chunk of it or what, but it felt like it felt like chipping a tooth and a nerve is exposed.
Yeah.
And and it hit the wind and you're like, like what the fuck was that? And out of just sheer reaction, I shoved him. And I shoved him through the doors of the subway. Like it was opening at the stop. And like, as soon as I realized I was in the middle of a fight, because the kid like came back at me, the fucking doors closed and the subway took away. It was a fucking movie moment, dude.
That's so beautiful.
Where I was like, holy shit, I'm about to get the shit kicked out of me by a 17. He was like a man child, like a 17-year-old, probably a little less than me, a little skinnier. But I don't know. I do have the years of rage and all that stuff, but the relentlessness of a child and their wind, their engine.
Yeah.
I think that would take
I mean,
him
that's
over
what
the
I
top.
think probably what would happen is I would get the shit kicked out of me while my family watched. But I'll tell you a fun one. I was like in my late 20s and I used to go to DC all the time to do gigs because that's where I started. And I could go down there and do like a weekend of gigs, try a bunch of new stuff, and then come back to New York and have stuff that was like acceptable to do in New York. Or where I felt like, I didn't have to fail publicly, so I would do it someplace I was comfortable. But I would smoke a bunch of weed before I would get on the bus either way. And I was coming back, and the mega bus used to drop you off at Penn Station. And I was like baked out of my mind. And I got on the train to go uptown to get to Queens. And this homeless guy, was like dragging this scrap metal like through along the platform, and then I'm like standing in front of the doors and he's trying to get the scrap metal onto the train.
Right.
And I'm like, hi. So I'm like not really sure what to do. I'm just like standing there and he's like, get the fuck out of the way. And then the doors are shutting and he's like having to fight the doors open while dragging his scrap metal. And he's yelling at me the whole time. And eventually I'm like, come on, man, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I didn't, give me a break kind of thing. And it just makes him angrier. And this is like an elderly, homeless black guy.
Sure.
And he's just pissed that I fucking said anything.
Yeah.
I'm high. And he's just, the second he gets on the train, he just starts ramping up. He's like taking off shirts and being like, this motherfucker thinks he can fucking talk to me. And like getting ready to fight me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you. Like, what? I'm high out of my mind. And also you're an old man. And he starts like following me down the train car. And I get to the other end of the train car, right about to like where he's gonna beat the shit out of me, and or I'm gonna, I don't know, do something else. And like 5 black teenagers step up and they go like, hey man, back off. Like,
no shit.
They stopped him.
Wow.
It was like an amazing moment of like, because I think I maybe even was like
the Avengers.
Yeah, I was like, I think I maybe even got on the train and was like, oh, I'm not gonna stay on that end of the train because I don't want to get bullied.
And they showed up to save your life.
They saved my life.
Dude, there's so many I mean, you could I've forgotten more stories than like I've about like incidents like that on the train or just stuff that doesn't even clock for you. Because I remember, do you remember on the Upper East Side years ago, there was a famous homeless woman that would spit.
I've heard about it. I can't like picture it.
She looked like she was in Fiddler on the Roof. Like
it was like the pigeon lady.
Yeah, and would just like spit all over the place. They actually ended up arresting her, and they found like $60,000 in her pocket.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she was just stacking paper.
We should have killed her.
We should have. I mean, it's crazy that I think Louis had a bit about that, but it's kind of crazy that they're just not murdering people all the time.
The homeless?
The homeless, yeah. That they're not just eating people in the middle of the streets and being like, why am I living by laws?
Yeah, I mean, especially like considering gentrification. Like, if you want people to stop gentrifying your neighborhood, just kill a couple of them.
Yeah, kill them.
If you put one hipster's head on a pike, they will not be moving to your hood. If in 2010 somebody had done that in Bushwick, there would be no Bushwick.
No.
That would not be a problem right now. If somebody had just put a hipster's head on a pike, people would have been like, I'm going to focus on Woodside. Maybe we'll hit Hoboken, Jersey City.
Dude, so I'm on the 6 train. This is when I used to live on the Upper East Side, and I'm with my friend Andrew And I think not his girlfriend, but like a girl that worked in his office or something like that. And we were all talking, and we're heading uptown, and we were talking about that woman. And we were saying about like, because there was another guy that used to be in like 19th and Park Ave South that used to walk around with a cat on his head. And there was another dude that used to be called Hercules, I think. He had the craziest angel dust eyes of all time.
Nice.
But he'd walk around with like full bare Gaston chest, even in January. Like it was just wild. So we were talking about all those people. They're like celebrities. And I don't know, we stop at this stop. We look over. That lady walks onto the train, walks up to the girl and spits in her face, and then walks off the fucking train. It was
when that type of shit happens, you just go, okay, well, this is like I'm hooked up to a machine. They're just harvesting my organs, and all this is fake. I'm just the goo of the
if
Matrix.
you get HIV that way, you're like in a Stephen King novel.
Yeah,
that is a gypsy woman caressing your cheek and saying
you did
thinner.
Something wrong. You deserve it.
100%. It was. I mean, that is like truly one of those things where we live in a simulation. This is not real.
That's so funny. How did we get on this topic?
How did we?
You remember?
Fighting teenagers.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The fighting. I want to fight.
Did you fight in high school? I know we've talked about the car.
Here's the thing.
But
I've never been in a lot of fights. I've been in a couple. Most of them were when I was drunk. I never really like had a successful where I beat the shit in my whole life. But when I boxed, I was pretty good at it. And I fought some guys that should have handled me very easily, and I was able to like fight them pretty well.
That's cool. I like that better than even being in a fight. I think that's cooler.
But then when I started to take it seriously and I started to like train for a specific Golden Gloves match, and I was like sparring every day and all this stuff, I was sparring with this like 15-year-old kid. I was 19 at the time. I weighed 190 pounds. Like I was in great shape.
Yeah.
Training 5 days a week. And then he was 15, weighed 115 pounds. And they called him El Gato. And he'd been boxing his whole life. And I was like, I don't know, 9 months into it or 6 months into it. And we were sparring, and I got him with a right cross, like accidentally. It was supposed to just be real light.
Right tap.
And I just, out of nowhere, I just like right crossed him. And he just smiled. He kind of like was like, what? And then smiled and was gone. It was just like, he was gone. And then it was just like, kidney.
Oh, no.
Guts. Like, and I did not see him. I didn't see him once. He ducked down, and and then I was on my ass. And I was like, oh my God, like if this is what it really is. Like,
it's like Chris Tucker in fucking, in what is
Friday?
the only movie he's done? No, the Jackie Chan movie,
Oh,
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour,
where he
yeah.
gets hit and he's like, which one of y'all hit me?
It literally, and he was just like, nice right cross. Kind of thing, and then just dusted me. And I also was so stupid for the next 2 days that I gave up because I was like, I don't want to be a boxer
right
this bad.
No, you realize like what you have to be a true soldier. Like you have to fight through getting your absolute ass kicked.
And also you have to accept the fact that you are going to have brain damage. Like it's like it's not a negotiable. You will have some form of nobody is untouched.
No.
Like Oscar De La Hoya is like the best looking of them.
Have you seen him recently?
No.
He's a fucking nightmare.
Oh,
He's
really?
like out of his mind. I mean, he is the poster boy of cocaine and CTE.
Yeah. So
him and like, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, all those guys. Wait, is Antonio Brown the mega football player?
He's I don't know if he's MAGA. He's just mentally ill, but he
no, he's MAGA.
Oh, is he?
Isn't he?
He called
he called Shane the funniest white boy.
Yeah.
He's MAGA. He's big MAGA.
I don't even see that. Like, I don't know. I have a tough time labeling people like that who took his shirt off in his last football game and kind of sashayed
is that the guy that walked out of the
end
back?
zone. Yeah, he like lost his mind, and he's very clearly like.
But see, at the moment, I didn't think that was losing his mind. In the moment, I go, "There's a guy that's like frustrated with the system and has been like wronged." But then it's like, and then he goes, "Well, like I don't. There has to be a better way because somehow along the way of him being frustrated with the system, he went, you know what? Let's embrace fascism, and that is not. We need to find a home for them that isn't. I don't know.
I do think that some people just do that. Obviously, this is the most no shit thing ever said into a microphone, but for the attention. Like he no longer has the applause or the the glory of football. So what the fuck drug else is he going to replace that with?
I think all of it. I think no matter what it comes down to, I think the most appealing thing about MAGA and all of this politics stuff is it is an entire political movement built on I don't fucking care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not apologizing for shit.
Yeah.
There's all these people that are like, it's about the border, it's about culture. No, that's bullshit because all this stuff is fucking dismantled constantly by these people. It's the most appealing thing about it is that Trump has never said sorry once.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this stuff is like, I'm not going to learn your pronouns. I'm not going to turn off my car because there's fucking pollution. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to live my fucking life and you're going to deal with it. And there's so many people that literally have never had a problem in their life, but they're like so inconvenienced by like the fact that they had to learn how to just use words they already used.
Mm-hmm.
They, them are words you already used.
Yeah.
But they were like, it's confusing. And they're like, you know what? I'm not fucking doing that. And we're going to burn this place to the ground.
Can I not advocate for them? Because I don't think
you can advocate for them. I like a good.
I don't think they need an advocate. I think they have enough as it is. But as somebody, myself, who is a frustrated person who, you know, maybe sometimes feels unseen, not necessarily by any system, but just in general, because that's what life is.
Yeah.
You go through it anonymously sometimes and you can feel fucking lonely. And then certain things don't work out. So when I did that conspiracy podcast, I was basically up for sale.
Yeah.
I was ready to believe. I was ready to be a Sandy Hook truther. I would be a 9/11, like whatever you want. I'm in. If I have something to blame.
Shout out Sam Tripoli. We've seen it
I love Sam. He's the best. But, I was but they just never effectively did it. But I'm just talking as somebody who is kind of looking for like, I get it. I get the whole, like, I'm not going to fucking do that.
Well, I mean, I definitely have done it even with my comedy where there's like things where like for a while I was like, oh, I'm down with this whole thing of like, I'm going to say the worst fucking thing and I don't give a fuck and it's time that we stop apologizing. And then it's like, oh, wait, that's not me. That's not me. I actually, like, if you are offended, I actually go, okay, that's fair.
Isn't that funny? I used to think that was me, though. Did you ever think? Did you really?
Of course. I thought I was like, I'm never gonna fucking apologize. I'll say the darkest shit in the world. I mean, it was mainly because Ari invited me on a very lucrative gig, and I was like, this is me now.
But here's the thing. Like, so this is the two sides of me. Is that as somebody who really loves queef as queef can be, but art in its purest sense, I like somebody who doesn't apologize, who is that committed, like Ari,
I mean, like,
who refuses to bend to that. Like even the Kobe thing, I would not have done that. I didn't think it was notably funny. I didn't think it doesn't even matter. But like, I also knew he was going to get some shit from gangs that he didn't necessarily anticipate. But like, I kind of appreciated the fact that this fucking rogue animal is just speaking out in such a crazy way. I mean, you need that to exist for the other thing to exist, I guess.
Well, I'll say this, like for an Ari, I agree. I love that. I love that guy's out there and he's
also out there for the comedy. It's not for anything else.
It's the most important thing to him. And then like also like I love watching Tim do stand up. I'm diametrically opposed to almost everything he says, but he's so fucking funny.
He's so funny.
And he makes me laugh. And I go, sometimes I have to go like, wait, I have friends that are illegal immigrants. My family has trans people. Like, I don't agree with this. Mm-hmm. It's fucking funny, but it's like, I like it. I like that there's out there. I like that people are fucking crazy. I mean, I think if I hung out with like Roger Stone, I would be like, this guy's pretty fucking fun.
He'd be entertaining, for sure. Yeah.
But, I think the problem is that we've been so inundated with comedy is such a fucking like cultural significant right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like how many fucking people from every walk of life have you met, told you to stand up and they're like, have you done Kill Tony?
All of them.
It's
every one of them.
I think more people watch that than fucking The View.
Right.
Now, you know, it's like, or The Voice, you know, any of the V shows. True. But the problem is that it's like, yes, that's entertaining, but now it's like, it's turning into like real life.
Well, it's almost how Facebook became the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it became so big that now Kill Tony is almost all of stand up.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the problem is that like people watch Kill Tony and they watch a group of famous people make fun where they go, did you rape the cerebral palsy girl? And they go, that's fucking funny. And then in real life, a woman with cerebral palsy is like, these people wouldn't let me in this building. And they're like, shut up, you dumb bitch. You should get raped. And it's like, no, it's not comedy anymore. That's different. She's really hurt. You don't have to do the comedy now. It's not the comedy show. It's and it's the same thing that I was talking to you about Bobby, or with you and Bobby about, where you were like, I disagree with this. Where it's like I like all those things.
Yeah.
That I even like the horrible stuff. I love a horrible joke.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that we like that doesn't mean that it doesn't have a consequence on the other side.
Totally.
And it was like the same thing I was talking to you about, like the difference between like if we capped TVs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say, you know what? Just for resources wise, nobody gets a TV over 50 inches. I want a 150-inch TV. I want that.
Yeah.
But if I told you, hey, you can never get a TV bigger than 42 inches, but it means that all these kids in Africa, they don't have to mine lithium. You would probably go, yeah, I don't like it.
Right.
But everybody's like, nah, I get a fucking 85-inch TV. And you're like, yeah, but like the world's burning and the children actually make the stuff. And they're like, you're being gay.
So what do you say to somebody like me? Because I like the fact that I both agree with you and don't. Like, I don't really know where I stand on this stuff, because I'm like in lockstep with you. And then
also, it's fine if you disagree with me.
No, I know that. I totally know. But I'm also like, I understand the opposite point of view too. Like, I see the validity in it. I'm not saying I see the validity in saying in like legitimate racism or anything like that. I'm saying I see the validity in like being free creatively, and being like, and how being free, being totally free is fucking messy. So I don't know, like, who do we leave it up to make the rules? Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's like the most mushroomy bullshit, like, cop out, I guess. So I'm owning up to the fact that I'm copping out by not knowing a solution, but saying I just like freedom.
But I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I think the freedom stuff, but I don't think it's like I think that the answer is that, like, instead of rejecting any kind of like pushback, you maybe just, it's just like somebody goes, hey, I remember I used to have this joke, right? And the joke was, I told it was about the Challenger explosion. And it was about how the astronauts in the Challenger got into the Astronaut Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's unfair, because they didn't really do a good job astronauting, right? They all blew up and died, and they didn't even get to space. I think they were still in our atmosphere. And there's people who did go to space and came back, and they're not in the Astronaut Hall of Fame. And that must be very rough for them. And they, like, can you imagine them advocating, being like, I don't mean to be fucking insensitive here, but I like went to space and also came back. And then I had this line where I said, and also bad name for a spaceship, the Challenger. God was like, challenge accepted. And
man, great bit.
It was a great
plays
bit
on a pod one-on-one.
It was a great bit, and I liked it. I would get bad feelings. I have a couple jokes. I always have a joke where it's like, even when I'm telling the joke, I'm advocating for the joke because people are turning on me.
Yeah,
I have a joke
of
about the
course.
Special Olympics right now, the same thing. But a guy came up to me and he goes, hey man, my dad was part of the Challenger cleanup crew, and he spent months pulling body parts out of the bay in Cape
Wasn't there like
Canaveral.
6 people?
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it was 6 people. But he was pretty serious. I don't think he was trying to like, he wasn't trying to gas me
months.
out.
Like a lengthy cleanup for that many people.
I think they had to find them all.
Oh,
you know?
I gotcha. Yeah, big radius.
Anyways, I was like, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he goes, you should think about telling that joke. And I thought about it, and I felt bad in that moment. And then I was like, but I still like the joke, and most people's dad didn't do that.
Yeah, I would say that's likely,
but also
the only scenario where that happens.
I didn't have to go, shut the fuck up, it's a free speech.
Yeah.
I went, all right, cool, I offended. And that's the weird thing. It's like, we've gotten to this point where it's like, you think your joke is more important than like all these people's feelings? Your dumb fucking joke.
Sometimes I do. I know where it's like, this is the problem with me, is that sometimes I find art, comedy, etc., more important than an individual's personal feelings that they're trying to mass spread. However, the thing that made me think of is like, your joke is kind of similar to what Trump was saying about McCain.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I don't know, the guy got captured.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a hero. That's not a hero to me.
I mean,
but that's what, like, to me, that's what is ruining comedy, is the fact that joke, that is a funny joke. And honestly, the fact that Trump said it to McCain is objectively funny.
Yeah.
But it's in the context where he's legitimately serious.
Yeah.
And saying it with consequence. So it actually ruins the ability to joke in that way.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's so funny and saying things that he's doing, it actually, to me, neuters comedy.
Yeah.
Because now it's real.
And that's why I think you're going to have an annoying pushback where comedy's going to reawake in the terms of woke over the next couple of years, because like, it's not fun to call Trump like the best debater when he's like having kids put in trucks,
right?
And they're turning the back up and dumping them on the other side of the border. You know, like whatever. Like, it's just the real life implications.
Well, then this is your time. Because I think,
but I don't even want to be this. I just think that's not even
I'm anointing you, Andy, King Lib.
I do. I mean, I feel strongly about this stuff. I think that we have a responsibility as humans to take care of other humans. I feel like all this stuff also is like.
So does my gray area thing like kind of disgust you then?
No,
and I'm okay with any answer.
No, I think first of all we have personal responsibility to think about people around us, and I don't think we can't do it for everybody. There's too many people on earth, but I don't think the reaction is fuck you when somebody says my feelings are hurt, even if they say it in an annoying way. It's like, how much does it hurt you to just go, oh, I'll think about that? Or, oh, like I take that as, I'm still going to tell the joke. I understand where you're coming from. And I think that's like, even on the other side though, you have the fucking dumb liberal person being like, my uncle's not my uncle anymore because of the way he voted.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, your uncle is a fucking truck driver from Enumclaw, Washington. Did you think he was going to pick up bell hooks and learn feminism this week? Like, shut up.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's also kind of what I respond to. And if this, Nicole, if this gets like too annoying, but let us know. But
is it funny?
Is it funny? Tell us.
It's real. I mean, it's like they're complicated thoughts that people think about. I think it matters. And like, we're living in a time where, like, at least for me too, I have two totally different groups of people that I'm affiliated with, which would be like
the Nazi Party.
Yes, of course. But generally, like, who I'm working with is like totally different, like background, age group, whatever. And then, you know, the other half is I went to a private liberal arts college. So like there's a lot of different viewpoints and you have to kind of like enter these different places.
Yeah.
And sticking to your own thing and like just saying like, hey, this is how I feel can be difficult because you want to be heard.
And I'll also say this. I will say this more than anything is it's like what I'm saying is annoying and it's also not funny to some extent. Like my job is to be funny. That's my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my job. And I just happen to like care about these things and I bring them to my job too often, which is a detriment. I think societally I'm willing to take that sacrifice because I believe in the humanity that's on the other side of the idea.
Sure.
So I'm okay. I'm okay not selling out theaters because I couldn't fucking tell a dark enough joke without it having some kind of personal implication on me.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I get to this point that like I admire the fact that your perspective is self-contained and it's also self-informed, where all of my information or even response seems like a response to a response to a response. So I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about or like the origin of what I'm talking about.
I think you do. I think you're like short selling yourself. I just think you're trying to be open-minded, which is fine. But you're also torn between multiple worlds. I am, and you've done Legion of Skanks too much.
Yeah, but I mean, the people that like me out of that like me from that, and the people that don't will never. It is what it is. But what I'm trying to do is I used to not talk to my father. Justifiably for a lot of reasons, and then we had like political contention in the middle of it. Ping pong was the germ.
Last ping pong game.
But we would have like violent skirmishes over fucking politics and shit like that. It very clearly represented other stuff.
Yeah,
but that's like where it came from. And then
Yelling,
later in life,
punching,
like physical fights.
That's cool.
And then I have to move in with my in-laws, who my father-in-law is a like. My father on Nos.
Like, oh, really?
Nos!
Yeah.
Just explode. Like, yeah, I mean, and it was during the pandemic, so he was radicalizing in real time.
Yeah.
While I was with him, which was like almost like I was faced with the challenge for a reason. Like it was a second time around to see how I would do.
Yeah.
And my only approach to it that gave me any type of peace is like radical acceptance. And open-mindedness, and not to his ideas, to him as a person. So I think what he says is like like the shit that he believes is bullshit. I think it sucks. It's based on nothing. It's based on YouTube algorithms, and he's too fucking tied in knots to ever find his way out, probably. But my empathy is with him as a person to get to the point to then seek out that information, to have something to blame for his own frustration.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is like, I don't care if you are uncomfortable with trans people.
Right.
If you are honestly uncomfortable with it and it's like an idea that you can't empathize with it, that's fine. Like I don't like it. It hurts those people's feelings. I think it's like something you should work on, but that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're uncomfortable with trans people and then you take it upon yourself to like complain about women's college swimming, you're a fucking loser. Like, shut the fuck up. Why? And that's all this shit that really bothers me. It's like
the noise.
Yeah, it's like I am racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all. I'm racist. I'm sexist. Yeah, just you clip it. You clip it. This isn't funny. I'm not good at my job. I'm racist. Please clip those and make that just the whole episode on repeat. But I'm for sure racist. I see shit on the train. I go, ugh, I gotta watch out for that motherfucker. Or like, oh great, this. I was a mover for a decade, and it was like almost clockwork that if you got a South Asian, like Indian couple, or you got a Chinese couple, that you were not going to get a tip.
Yeah,
because it just wasn't. They didn't do it, or whatever. I don't know.
Cards.
And so I literally would go into every single one of those. It was based on experience, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still racism.
Sure.
You know, like it's just me going like, well, I'd met 10 of you, and so all
it's just well-researched racism.
Yeah, there's a little bit of calculation going into it. But I mean, that's okay. But it's like, that's the other side of this bullshit, which is like the other side, which is the annoying, like whatever we'll call woke. They won't even admit that they have the fucking thoughts.
Right.
It's like, I support trans people. I also am scared of certain people on the subway when I see them.
Yeah, because do people feel that if they acknowledge that, then their entire argument falls apart? Because I don't understand that. Like, as a person who I've exposed too much of myself, too much of my opinion, too much of my heart to the internet, and I'm just like, I'm trying. My whole goal in life is to be as authentic as humanly possible, and to my detriment. But like, what is it with that? With like withholding that information just to like appear a certain way or to make a point, or what do they think is going to happen if they expose the whole fucking thing?
I don't know, because I mean, I'll tell you this, it's not going to help them, because it hasn't helped me, because I have not been.
What do they think is going to happen? They're going to be doing a podcast in the fucking basement of a comedy club?
Yeah. 42-year-old man. No, I mean, I don't know, because it's like, I think we've talked about this before, and I don't think it's great podcasting material, but I think it's like, it's true. It's like, I'm not a bro.
Sure.
And I'm also not at fucking Union Hall doing my one-man show.
Yeah.
So because I'm not one of those other two things, comedy really likes specifics.
Yeah.
Or they like
extremes.
Yeah. Or a very, it doesn't have to be specific politics or ethos, but like Daniel Simonson is not a political this or that, but he's very specifically him.
100%.
And I think that the problem with a lot of things, and I'm not even saying it's a problem because I have a great career, not in the comparison game,
right?
But I have a great career in that I've lived a very full life doing a lot of cool things with comedy. But it is not, it's not. I'm not getting a ton of calls.
No, it's what you just said though. It's like in a vacuum, if you can just take your life and put it in a vacuum and not compare it to literally anything.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the jackpot. This is unbelievable. Like when I played basketball seriously and competitively, I always used to hear this thing that I never put together until I was doing comedy, where they're like, use basketball to do things in your life.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, they're like, to travel, to do this, to do that. And I was like, I'm just hooping. Like, what are you talking about? I don't get what you mean. And then I was in Kuwait on like the roof of a hotel with Gary Veeder being thrown off for being gay. But no, we're just watching. And I looked at him, I was like, I was like, jokes got us here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're on the other side of the earth, overlooking a thing I would have never seen in my entire fucking life if I didn't pick up a microphone and talk about my dick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like, I think that's the whole thing. You got to look at it because it's so easily, especially with like the social media now, where it's like we know exactly how well everybody's doing now, right?
Yeah.
You're like, that guy, because you can calculate, you can go, oh, sold out in fucking Des Moines. That's a fucking 400-seater.
Yeah.
He's got 6 shows. Those are $40 tickets. That's fucking $28K.
I bet people feel this way about their jobs too. Like, because I do want to open this up to where it's not just stand up. Like, we're applying this to our job because this is our life, and it may feel
like, he did 8 kitchen refurbs this week. But I mean, posting it on his website,
something like that. Like, my wife owns her own business, and she like there's compare culture in that. Yeah. There's social media elements of it. People, I mean, it might not be as much with their job, but it could be in parenting. Where some people post trips that they take with their family. They, post all the fun shit that they're doing. And, maybe you're fighting for your life out there and you're working a lot and you're a great parent, but you don't, take this glamorous, you don't have a glamorous life.
Yeah.
But you're doing a great job. And it's like that's the same thing that we're talking about. Where in a vacuum, if you take your life in a vacuum and the fact that you're supporting your children, working, and it might not seem glamorous and you're grinding it out and it's tough, but you have the fucking unconditional love of these people that you brought into this world. That's like such a massive success. It's not even funny. But then comparing it to, we just went to Disney and took a shit at Magic Mountain. Like, then it's like, well, fuck me, man. I can't do that for my kids. Or
you could have thought of a better example.
I definitely could have, but I really ran out of breath.
Japan, I don't know. Safari.
I ran out of breath.
It just shows how much culture Mike does not have, that he's like Disneyland, the height of familial
taking a
experience.
Shit also was the example.
I was able to bring my family to Orlando, Florida.
I mean, that costs as much as bringing them to Dubai.
It probably does.
It's so much fucking money. We went. And I think I got out like relatively light.
But it's like 10K.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And we went for like 4 days or 3 days. So, but it's, I mean, it's one of those things where if you're a parent out there and you're going to Disney, or you have been, DeStefano actually gave me good advice heading in. He's like, it's all about intention. He's like, so if you go in knowing that it's going to be a little nuts, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But if you go in thinking you can overpower how rowdy this is going to be and anxiety inducing, and the lines and the colors and the whining and then this and that.
I mean, that's all parenting, basically.
100%. Right? But I saw parents melting down on their kids before they made it through the little fucking ticket taker. I saw dads and OnlyFans content.
That's like if I go on a plane with her and I'm like, okay, this is going to be 6 hours and it's going to be fucking hell. It's going to be Vietnam up here. Mm-hmm. And things are going to get thrown. A diaper is going to be a fucking nightmare. We're going to run up and down this aisle. We're going to scream. I'm going to apologize. If I can just go, I know this is going to happen or could happen.
Yeah.
It's like, then whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's fine because I'm not. But if I go like, okay, this has to be perfect. And it's a night flight, so we can't wake up anybody. And we are going to do this at this hour and we're going to do this at this hour. Then that's when those things happen and it's a fucking disaster. But
I think that's why I'm good at doing mushrooms. Is because I know that at some point a dark force will enter.
You also go, my stomach's going to hurt a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to have to take a shit. The shit is going to be the weirdest shit in my life because I'm going to realize I'm an animal. And then I'm going to and I'm going to shit outside.
I'm going to realize I'm an animal. Is so
that happens.
accurate.
Every time you do mushrooms, you take a shit and you go, whoa, I'm a fucking deer. You know? You do. It's weird.
It's perfect. You're absolutely right. I'm no different than a hippopotamus.
I miss nothing more than shrooms. I liked getting high and feeling that manic energy, but the clarity with which you see your own perceptions and you get those little glimpses.
Yeah.
Like I remember the last time I did mushrooms, I saw a bird and it was on a light pole. And I was like, birds get to stand sideways. And that's so silly and unimportant. But it was like, that kind of perspective is so funny because you just realize I'm stuck here, but birds are going this way, spiders are going this way, and that shit's just fucking hilarious to you in the moment.
I had the exact same thought when I was in the woods, and I wasn't even tripping, but I could see in like 8K.
Yeah.
And everything was zoomed in, and I was watching an ant walk through the bark.
Yeah.
And I was like, to that ant, it's not up. It's down, and then it's also in like kind of this crazy...
It's a canyon.
And then I started envisioning myself crawling through a canyon, and I'm just like half shimmying up this tree, and my friend's like, Mike, come here.
He's pissing his pants the whole time. Like, Mike, you all right, bud? He's like, I'm an ant in a canyon. That should be the title of this. An ant in a canyon. There was something I wanted to... Oh, I mean, I think getting back to all this, I think like, you know, I talk a lot of shit, and I also think I talk shit in not just about other people, but like I talk shit internally about myself.
Yes.
And it's about my place in comedy because I don't have these certain accolades or I'm not being asked to do these certain things that I think. But then, you know, I do think when you take yourself out of those places where you're trying to like, I don't know, hurt yourself by comparing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every night I try to do this thing where I look around my apartment and then I look out the windows and I see like Manhattan. I go, I fucking live in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I have a family. I have a pretty fucking dope apartment. It's not like dope like a fucking Kardashians. It's, you know,
Sure.
I don't have floor to ceiling windows with a fucking...
It's in Manhattan.
But it's like a beautiful home and a family, and it's like this stuff that we were just like told to never...
count. It doesn't
because
count
it's
as
not.
success.
You can't like you put it on a Christmas card, but you don't put it on a like, haha.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, I should
Nobody's
put my
like-
sons on my resume.
Yeah, nobody's like posting a picture with their family, being like, ha ha ha, I got love. You know, like, you know, nobody's ever doing that. Like,
Wow.
this is to all the haters. We
Are
just
there
got
any more doors for them to slam shut?
Yeah.
What's happening?
We just got a very affordable vehicle. I just got a Kia Telluride at a great lease rate. You know, like nobody does that. Nobody
I think
does
we're
that.
changing the culture. We should make that. We should start flexing just full fam,
I do think
just
that
as achievements.
it needs. I do think we need to take a little bit of this, like especially in comedy, because it's like gotten so gross with like literally the business is like based. It's not. I mean, a lot of people are funny, so I'm not going to be one of these old guys that says like they're not funny. There's a ton of funny people, but
I'd
so
wager
much,
more funny people now than ever.
Yeah, it's
Than ever.
Also, like it's hard to write a good joke, but honestly, like funny is not that. Like there's very, very funny people that do not have to try very hard. Comedy is
Yeah.
not fucking brain surgery. It's not.
Is that hard?
I think so.
Is brain surgery hard?
Maybe
I
not.
bet- or once you learn it.
I think you just poke around in there. Honestly, I don't think there's a lot of brain surgery you can do. I think you try to keep the whole thing, and it's like trying to take the middle of a piece of cheese out. I think that's basically it.
Do you think the act of brain surgery is harder than the schooling it takes to get there? That's a good fucking question.
I think it's just high stakes. I think it's like
Yeah.
being a pilot where you just have to nail the landing. It's probably not that hard to fly.
yeah, I guess that's
It's
that's
just-
actually not. That
I think
good
it's
of a
all
question.
it's doing is it's making your prepper. I think it's preparing somebody to be in a position where they know the stakes of something are so great that they have to live up to these certain kind of conditions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there pressure simulation in medical school?
Yeah.
So they have like situations where they ramp up their like heart rate before a surgery or practice surgery or something like that.
I mean, they have to operate on tons of shit.
Yeah.
And they have to get used to it. And then also they go and they do like these. I mean, I think by being a resident or whatever, I'm just watching The Pit right now, which is on Max. It's about the ER in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It's narrative. It's not real.
Okay.
But, you're like a student and they're like, all right, go take care of this guy. And then he dies. And then they're like, all right, go talk to his family and tell him they're dead. And so I think you go like, oh, shit, this is pretty bad.
So then it's trial by fire then.
Yeah.
It's real life.
But I don't think planes. They don't do that with planes.
Yeah.
They don't go. They make you do the simulator.
You have to do hours.
Yeah. And then you go with some people for a while.
Does any part of you have an interest in getting your pilot's license?
Very much.
You do?
Yeah. Because I'm so afraid of flying sometimes that it's like, I feel like if I understood the science of it and like had actually been with, I'm never uncomfortable on a flight if there's a pilot around me. Because
sure.
I'll be like, hey, I can ask him what's going on.
Yeah.
Or a holy person. I'm just like, the plane's not going to go down if there's a fucking monk on here. Are you kidding me? Monks don't die.
I'll tell you what though, that Delta flight that
into Toronto. I wish I was on that so bad.
Well, they all got 30 racks.
No, it's not even the money. Because it's just you're not gonna get in the second plane crash.
Right.
Oh,
tell that to fucking DJ AM. Wasn't that his second one?
I don't know.
It was his second one.
He was in two planes.
Right. I think he clawed his way out of one and then got another one.
Did he die in the second one?
Yeah, he sure did.
All right.
Either him or TB got in two of them, but one of them,
TB?
Travis Barker. Nobody.
Oh
ever
yeah,
calls
Travis
him
Barker
that.
did get in one.
That's
why
two,
he was hurt.
Right?
I don't know.
Well, he was in the one with DJ AM where AM passed.
Yes,
or died. Was violently taken from us, but one of them was in one before that too.
I know that the Aaliyah.
Oh, it was Travis Barker because I think he just got his courage to get back on him.
Really?
I think so. I might be making this whole fucking story up.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Nicole, did you find anything?
I'm trying to, but it couldn't have been DJ AM.
Okay.
I think because he died, unless he was in one before and then the second one he died, but.
Or he didn't even die from the flight. Am I wrong? Did he overdose?
Well, no, I thought because it was Travis Barker was trying to get him out and jumped through the flames or something like that.
Yeah, it's something awful, man. That is a tough sitch.
Yeah, I don't know about more than one though.
Well, it's like that guy that I tell this story all the time. But do you know the Japanese businessman that was in both the Hiroshima blast and the Nagasaki?
No. No, I
Poor
don't.
fucking guy. He's like the inspiration for Pikachu. But he
Wait, because he glue and he had a tail? Is glue the past tense of
glowed?
He glowed.
He glowed. But glue does sound better.
Yeah.
But yeah, he apparently was like going, whichever one was first. I think it was Hiroshima, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was.
He was
drove
in the blast.
He's like, where will they never hit?
Then he was I think he was on a boat to Nagasaki to get like medical help.
Yeah.
And then the second fucking bomb hit. And then he lived till like 2009.
Jesus.
Yeah, he had like 46 different kinds of cancer.
Really?
Yeah, because of all the fucking all the uranium or whatever. Yeah, tough. I mean, I'm laughing at this poor guy's probably.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
nightmare.
like this does make me think about the kind of like I never hear people say this, but I do think that there's like a certain defense of like the shock and awe comedy in the sense that like I do think life is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
At the same time, and this type of stuff happens, and like, what's the best thing we can do?
Yeah.
Is that we can fucking laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is something to be said for that. So I do feel like I have to walk back a little bit of what I said because thinking about that in that sense, it's like that is hilarious.
Yeah. It's like so.
Maybe it's just that the art is like the artfulness of it has been so like, you go to fucking Austin. And people are like, so I raped the immigrant with the fucking fentanyl, And I'm not going to say anything wrong, you fucking faggot retards. Like whatever. And everybody's like, whoa, the writing. This guy. this guy's the next guy. Oh my God. Whoa. Where it's like, Norm. Norm could say the same joke, but you wouldn't see it coming.
No,
100%. Surprise you 5 times.
You're 100%.
There'd be like some kind of beautiful turn of phrase.
There's nothing more frustrating than me personally being like I'm a free speech advocate. Like I think beat shitty speech with better speech. Like that's kind of, I understand that there might be too much noise now to even do that, but that's generally where I stand. But I don't believe that the fight for free speech is only so we can tell the same jokes our uncles did.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that that's like the big victory in all this is we can say Jews are cheap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not the win we all think it is.
No.
I'm fine with saying it. That should be a part of all of it. But the fact that that's like that kind of thing is the fucking torch through the fog is like, what the fuck are we doing?
It's also going to just be funny when we're like all trying to like meet up to get for the water truck to come, so that we can live another couple weeks, and we're just thinking about like all the times that the guys were like, why do I tell jokes like this? Because I fucking care about the First Amendment. You're like, all right, well, that's great. It's 125 degrees outside.
We're not allowed to turn on our air conditioners.
No, there's no power. What are you talking about? Society's fall.
There's no power. What are your do you have any predictions with that? Like how soon that might be?
I don't think it'll actually ever be in our lifetime that we'll see that.
Well, what about our kids? Because we've done that. We've extended
I think we're gonna,
our impact.
I think so. What I think it is I think it's a pendulum, and I think like we're seeing like a very normal winter this year, right? It's cold.
Fucking brick city,
it
dude.
Snowed a couple times. It hasn't snowed this much for years. It hasn't even been a lot of snow, but just this like many times that it snowed. And then I think you're going to see, 2 winters from now, it's going to be fucking 75.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to go back and forth. And then I think we're going to see a couple summers where it's like 110 and for a week and shit like that. And so I think it's going to be back and forth and back and forth. And it could speed up. Like that's the theory. The theory is that it's going to go and then death. Right. Because then we're just not living.
On either way.
140.
It's like the pirate ship at Six Flags.
Exactly. That is the pendulum.
That is a pendulum. It's like you're speaking to a slow kid.
Yeah, you got it. Hey, good job.
It's back and forth. That's right.
But I keep on looking at this yellow light and thinking we're being lit. Like just because it's not a color that I think that, like Nicole's putting that on being like,
I keep that up. I keep thinking that's the Lord summoning me.
Yeah. You just fly towards it, hit your face on it. But I think we'll see some pretty devastating stuff. It's just the problem now is
saying that casually and speeding it up. I think we'll see some pretty
we've already seen
stuff.
it, We've already seen it. And the problem is
dude,
like with
did
the
you,
noise.
Speaking of which, devastating stuff. Did you see Detroit?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it'll be 2 weeks old, but Detroit, the flood and then the freezing.
Yeah.
That was a fucking movie, dude.
I don't
that was
even
the day after tomorrow.
I
that
don't
was
even think
nuts.
We're like that type of shit is gonna happen. It's gonna go out on the news, and then the next news story is gonna be like Trump decides that trees are gay, and then and we're just gonna go, wait, fuck. Like all those people died in that pile, but this is fucked up. And then like the next thing is like Sabrina Carpenter announces worldwide tour with Post Malone, and you're like, oh, I want to get tickets to that. And then the next thing is like JD Vance outlaws blacks, and you're like, oh God, what are we doing? And then it's just fire everywhere, right?
What do you guys think about the Doomsday Fish that are coming? The deep sea fish that are emerging?
Yeah,
with the teeth.
Well, there's more than one. There was an anglerfish, which
that's the one with the
it's
teeth.
like the size of a hamster, which I thought for my whole life they were like the size of a school.
That's all it is.
One.
It's just the size of a.
I saw it in someone's palm.
Yeah,
like it's
the one with the
teeny
jaw,
tiny,
like the giant.
Yeah.
It's the size of a hamster.
It would be,
It's like
unless
this big.
I am just at this point, I'm like 70 and just getting bamboozled by AI left and right, which I don't doubt. But it's teeny tiny.
No, but they showed the cameraman in perspective to the fish because it goes to the surface when it's dying.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the video you're talking about?
Yeah, because it's the first one that's ever been seen like in light. And then there was another one,
Whoa.
It was alive.
And the super long one.
The metal thing that looks like a sword or an LED strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all pretty bad. Like, I don't think people realize, like, it's just going to be like, so there's like this whole thing with,
we're going to get like permafrost AIDS. Like, there's going to be some woolly mammoth.
There is going to be
HIV.
there is going to be some diseases that we're like not even ready for. And the funniest thing about it is that there's like this fucking idiot with a brain worm is going to be like, I don't think that the diseases are meant to be carried. You know, like whatever, like. Because it's like literally like now with this mRNA vaccine technology, it's like we can see a disease coming and go like, all right, make vaccines for this now. It used to take years.
Yeah.
And now they can just be like, all right, we'll isolate a few different strands. We'll make a vaccine. We'll mass distribute it.
But isn't it gene therapy, not even vaccines? Just repeating something I heard from
who cares?
Yeah,
I didn't get
I
fucking
don't know.
COVID anymore. I don't give a shit. Fucking put 9 different things on me. I've been fine. These fucking pussies.
Wait, we're in like a more fun doomsday category. When 2012 was a thing, were you like a part? Were you like in on that? It's ending.
No, I was a
waiting for
little
the
like,
day?
ooh, let's see what happens.
I remember
Silly.
when Y2K, somebody at a Y2K party I was at turned off the power. That was pretty funny.
That's funny. That's good. Do you remember the weather on December? Was that 12th, 2012, or was it 21st?
I think it was 12, 21, 12. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I was in LA.
the entire sky in New York turned black.
Really?
Like, it was crazy. I was on the Brooklyn Bridge. I was walking the bridge just to have fun on
To
Doomsday.
die.
Yeah. I was like, let's
wanna
fucking
die
die
somewhere
at the river.
Photographic.
And I think I have pictures from it somewhere, but the sky looked like a scene from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just crackling. It looked like it was something epic and
That's
biblical
awesome.
about to happen, and then it just disappeared.
I do want to die like that.
In the end, you want the wave
Not
to
the
hit everybody.
end, but I just would love to die in a thing where it's like we all just like look at the sky as it rains fire, and I grab Rosebud's hand, and we just kind of go, "Oh, here it comes."
You leave Minnow out to be by herself.
Get out of here!
Get out of here! You're ruining Mom and Dad's moment.
I just try to finger her one last time.
I would definitely
Come
try
here,
to get
get
one
over here.
one last cummy.
Yeah.
That's nice that you're trying to dole one out, though.
No,
I would try to take one.
I think. I mean, Doomsday wise, I think the problem is it's like it's gonna be. We're too overexposed. First of all, like there's fucking just shit everywhere that we see that doesn't like. We don't even care when there's a school shooting anymore. It's like, is there 10
Do
people
those
dead?
still happen?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
every day.
I know.
Mainly whites. But we were talking about this. We have not seen a fat school shooter yet. We've not seen a fat school.
Comment below if we're wrong.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
seen a woman and a gender non-binary mass shooter.
If Sagalow had to do a Billy Madison, he's a candidate.
I think here's,
You know,
I
Brendan,
honestly think
we should
I
write
don't
Billy Madison 2 and have Brendan Sagalow be the star, but he shoots up the high school for being too frustrating.
Yeah, Sandler has been really trying to revive every single ounce of his career for monetization. He releases a movie every 2 months. So let's do it. Let's get in there. But no, what were we talking about? Fat shooter.
Fat shooter?
I think it's laziness.
Yeah.
I don't think they want.
They don't want to do it.
They can't put down their candy bars and learn how to clean a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's so funny because I was like so religiously watched Comedian when I was coming up.
You were.
The movie Comedian. I used
Oh,
to
yeah,
watch
yeah,
that
yeah.
documentary
Yeah.
like every 2 days. And then like for every milestone I would rewatch it. It's kind of like a reminder of like what I had seen and what
Yes.
I wanted. You know, when I got my first late night, when I got Montreal, when I got my half hour. But that was here. There was like a big scene here. I'm just thinking about that right now. When it was Stand Up New York, and
Yeah.
Stand Up New York was the club, Jerry would come here.
Yeah. He told the Norman Rockwell painting
Yeah.
story downstairs to Orny Adams.
Was it here?
It was
in
here.
this room?
Yeah, it wasn't in this room. It was upstairs at the bar.
Oh.
And they're standing, and people, you could hear the bartender and people tell other comics to shut up while Jerry's talking.
Oh, you mean the one where the plane lands in the field? And
yes,
they go, how do people
and they're
live this
walking
way?
through the snowy
Yeah.
thing, and they're like,
I
how do
love
people
that
live
story.
this way? It's great.
Except the problem is that I loved that story so much, and then one day I actually needed to die indoors, and I was like, fuck, I've been planning on trudging through the snow with the band too long. And also, I didn't save any of that money.
Yeah.
You dummy. You big dummy.
I bought a Champion hoodie.
Yeah.
A crew neck.
$110.
$110.
$110 for
I think it was worth every penny.
just because it has pockets here.
Yeah.
I do think it's worth it. I mean, I'll say this. I don't think there's a price you can pay that's too high for comfortable sweats.
I mean, I wore
Designer
Uggs on our
sweats.
last episode.
I know.
I spent $160 on shoes that are being laughed at.
Yeah. The only ones I won't do are the Stone Island. Stone Island is
What are those?
absurd. Stone Island's an Italian brand that's really popular, like in kind of high fashion. Plus, it was adopted by like European football hooligans. They wear it a lot, but it's like really kind of nice.
Is it like
Santino wears it? Sometimes it's got a patch right here. Yeah, sometimes it's like
I like the Liam Gallagher kind of fucking football guy.
Yeah, it's that, but it's always got a patch right here with a button on it.
Okay.
Anyways, it's like $1,000 for like a sweatshirt. It's like insane. But otherwise, spend away. Does any of this make sense? We're all gonna die. I'm talking about sweats.
I honestly think this was our best episode.
We did do a good job of going like fun, serious,
yeah,
fun,
and also again, we're getting to know each other on a personal level. I think it's healthy the fact that we can talk like this.
Yeah.
And discuss, not even opposing, but just because I have just a lot more questions. I used to be very certain about my opinion. And then I got like my teeth kicked in a bunch by life.
Yeah.
And because I had I just had wrong opinions on not necessarily like political or anything like that, just on life, on what I thought life was going to be.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of non-committal on opinions in general and just trying to feel my way through life. And I think that's probably where I'm going wrong.
I mean, I think you're fine. Here's the thing. It's like, put me in a different room. Give me a little bit of, I'd like to think that I would resist any kind of like, I'd like to think of like if I was invited on Gutfield, I wouldn't be like, that is so funny what you said about them, but.
No, it's more fun to do that. Like I used to do Red Eye.
Yeah.
And I'm not a conservative. I'm also not like a Democrat. I thought I was for a long time. I don't know where I align. I don't think I align politically really anywhere. Yeah. I just think I'm like, I don't know, I'm too far gone or something. But my whole point was like, it's easy to succeed on that show.
Yeah.
You know what the talking points are. You can make a joke in the general direction of what the belief system of the audience is and be basically carried out on everybody's shoulders. But it's more fun as a comedian to be an agitator.
Yeah.
So it's more fun to go into that environment and be like they were like, was Lady Gaga's halftime show too appalling? And I'm like, I wanted her to have an abortion on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't give a shit. And they were like, what? Tom Shalhoub's like, my God. And I'm like, what are we doing here? This is what we're supposed to do. We're fucking around. We're saying
Did you get in trouble for that?
I mean, they didn't invite me back after that, but that was by the time I did my
Have
15th.
me on your show, you pussies. I'll fucking body every single one of you. It may not be funny, but I'll be right.
I think
you fucking pussies. You fucking losers going after every single fucking compromise group. You all look like fucking Hitler Youth, you goddamn, except Joe Mackey. But the rest of you guys look like fucking demons. Have me on your fucking show. I'll body every single one of you fucking vaginas. You've never even touched one, you fucking closeted homosexuals. Sorry. I'm so mad that they haven't invited me on. I'll fucking destroy you. Fucking SEO comedy, you goddamn hacks.
Fucking love
it. A good way to end this.
Best. I love this. Beautiful boys.
Yeah. Should we do plugs?
Skankfest boxing match, you versus all of those guys. That's the plug.
Are you going?
I am going to Skankfest.
Me too.
New Orleans?
Dude, let's do a beautiful
Tag
boys
team
live.
boxing wrestling situation, you guys versus the other guys.
But I don't know if any of those guys do
never.
Skankfest. Do they? The Red Eye guys?
No.
I think only Jeff Dye. Which he's probably got to do something cool. He's got to do something cool.
Something really cool.
He's got to do something cool, like the fucking go golfing with Terry Bradshaw. I don't know. Something that definitely cool guys do, and not my 68-year-old fucking uncle. And then I'm keeping that one in. That one stays. And then,
just put in that whole first episode right here.
Yeah.
Double feature.
Yeah, just install it. Just be like, all right, we've revisited this topic. Let's put it back in.
Next year, we're like literally like begging like an office park to let us put up a show. We're like, can we just come? Honestly, we'll rent the chairs. Because like the lowest of the lowest clubs won't book us anymore. We burned every bridge.
Rodney's will have us.
No, what were we just gonna say?
We were signing off.
Skankfest, yeah. Skankfest, November, New Orleans.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. And
live
then
pod. We should do a live pod.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
By the way, New Orleans, March 7th and 8th. Will this be out before then?
Maybe
I think
right
it will.
then.
Yeah, I think it'll be that week. Tuesday, this Friday and Saturday, I will be at the Sports Drink in New Orleans. And then at the end of the month, I will be at the Creek in the Cave, March 27th, and Riot in Houston in the Montrose neighborhood, March 28th and 29th.
Man, you have these memorized.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of dates.
No, that was really good.
And then April 18th and 19th, that will be at the Dallas Comedy Club in Deep Ellum.
Excellent. I have a Don't Tell set coming out March 12th. They just told me actually via email. So check that out. 10 full minutes of stuff you've seen. It's a medley of my special because I gotta cull the youth.
And also, if anybody from Don't Tell's watching, did I get the half hour? I haven't heard anything back. I submitted in June and I didn't hear anything back. Did I get it, you guys? We've been so close all these years and I haven't heard anything back.
March 14th, Morris Plains, New Jersey, Comedy Dojo. March 21st, I'm in Atlantic City Comedy Club. April, I'm at Uncle Vinny's. I got a ton of dates, not just in New Jersey, coming up right at you. But guess what? The agent fell asleep at the wheel, and I had to plug and play for March. April is when things start back up nationally again. And, MikeCannonComedy.com or Punch Up Live.
Yeah, Punch Up Live for both of us. Bye.